Good morning and good evening. Welcome to our session today, and we are going to learn on Microsoft Excel. So this is a continuation of what we've been learning previously, and in today's discussion, you are going to get an opportunity to understand how to use this Microsoft Excel software, application software, for the betterment of your education and also in real life practice. So in today's practicals, we are going to learn different ways we can execute the formulas in order to achieve the goals and tasks that we are supposed to deliver. For instance, in the first part, we are going to look at how can you use basic and industry context Microsoft Excel, whereby we are going to learn on how we can use Microsoft Excel in a domestic wiring exercise. Assuming that you are doing a project and this project entails domestic wiring as an electrical student or electrical trainee graduate. So in this project, you're supposed to create a material table for wiring a 3-bedroom house, whereby you will enter data, you will format cells, you will adjust column and widths with currency, and also you will format. After that, we are going to work on data columns, whereby we have item column, we have the unit column, we have the quantity, we have the unit price, we have the total cost. Once we've created a table, we are going to apply a formula in order to get the totals, whereby we are going to use a formula called AutoSum. Through the sum formula, we'll be able to get the total cost of these items that we've actually purchased. So that is today's exercise, and I hope that you are going to enjoy and also to learn and follow through. So we are going to start by working on the first one. So here is the first one. In the domestic wiring material project, we are going to actually create different columns. So I'll click randomly. Right now I've clicked in G5. This is column G, row number 5. So we have G5. In G5 I'm going to type item. So I'll type in uppercase, item. Then the next column, I'm going to type the unit. Next column, I'll type the quantity. The next column, I'm going to type the unit price. After that, I'm going to type the total cost. So this is a sample example of a wiring project. And now we are going to look at it. Then here I can say maybe number, so that we can do numbering. So after I've done that, you can see this column is actually, the width is too small. So I'm going to put my cursor on I, then I right click. The moment you right click, you go down to column width. So I'll click on column width. Instead of 8, I'm going to put 10 down here, and then I'll say okay, it will expand. The next column also, I will right click up there, click on column width. Instead of 8, I put maybe 15. Say okay. It will also expand. The next column I'll do the same and put maybe 12. Column width, I expand to number 12. So remember, I right clicked and then I expanded. So now our columns are big enough. This item column also seemingly looks to be bigger. So I need to expand it to be more bigger because we are going to type text. I'll put it at 20, then I'll click OK. Now we have columns that are bigger. The next thing I'll do is to select this column downwards. So I'm going to actually name number 1. The moment I've typed number 1, there is a small box in this corner, bottom right. I'm going to hold on it, and then I'll pull down this way it will give me automatic numbering. After that, I'll click on this autofill, then I say fill series, it will number for me. So this is what we have created. Now using that, I'm going to type the items. The items that we have is a twin and earth cable, 1.5 millimeter. So that is 1.5 millimeter twin and earth cable. Let me expand it a little bit. Right click, column width. Instead of 20, I'll put 30. Then below that we have 2.5 millimeter twin earth cable. And earth cable. Below that we have 20 millimeter PVC conduit. Below that we have 25 millimeter PVC conduit. I'll double click to edit. Space conduit. Below that we have single switch. Below that I have double socket outlet. Below that I have ceiling rows. Then I have a distribution board. Below which I have earth rod. Then I have a circuit breaker. So these are the materials that I have. Having understood that I will only utilize these rows and columns, I will be at the center of this. Select downwards, then select to the right. After I do that, I'll go up here under font category. I'll click this arrow and then I'll put all borders. That is under home tab. So now this is what we have on the column. On the first row, I'll just select the entire first row. Next to these borders, we have the font fill color. I'll click inside there, then I select a color for that. Once I do that, I'll also select this column for item, and also I'll give it a color. So now the next thing we are going to do is to put the unit. So what is the unit? So the unit that we have here is roll. The unit we have for that is also roll for those cables. The unit is length. Similar. Then we have a piece, single switch in terms of pieces. We have also a piece for socket outlets. Ceiling rows, we also have piece, the units of measure. We also have piece for distribution board. We have piece for earth rod, number of pieces. We also have pieces for circuit breaker. What about the unit cost for each material there? The unit cost for 1.5 millimeter twin earth cable is 4,500. The unit cost for 2.5 millimeter comes to 6,000. Unit cost for 20 millimeter PVC goes for 50. Unit cost for 25 millimeter goes for 30. Unit cost for single switch goes to 15 shillings. For double switch goes to 30 shillings. Double switch goes to 12 shillings. Then ceiling rows unit price one is 8 shillings. Distribution board one goes for no, this is the quantity, sorry for that. So the quantity, how many do you need for the 1.5 millimeter earth cable? We need 2, but the unit price is 4,500. Then we also need 3, and unit price is 6,000. Sorry for that. Then we also need, for the conduit, we need 50, and the unit price is 120. We also have 30, and the unit price is 150. Then when we come to the single switch, we need how many pieces? 15 pieces, and unit price is 250. After that, we have the double socket outlet. We need 12 of them. Unit price is 450. Ceiling rows, we need 8 of them. Unit price is 300. Distribution board, we need 1 piece, and unit price is 6,500. Earth rod, we need just 1. Unit price is 1,800. For the circuit breaker, we need 5 pieces. Unit price is 800. Unit price is 800. So here comes now the formula to get the total cost. So when you're going to do total costs in Excel, the formula that you use is as follows. This is the formula that I'm going to type here. As I type here, you'll be able to see it on this upper part. So what's the formula for getting the total cost? Formula goes like this: is equal into sum. Then you put bracket, is equal sum into bracket. So it is no, we use product, is equal product. We are doing multiplication. Is equal product into bracket. So product is a formula for multiplication. So we want to multiply the quantity times the unit price so that we get the total cost for this product. So how many were purchased? 2. What is the unit price of 1? 4,500. So the formula will be is equal into product, is equal product into bracket. You start with the first cell, that is I6, click on it, put a colon, and then J6. After that, you close the bracket, press enter. So it tells you 2 times 4,500 gives you 9,000. So 9,000 is going to be the total cost for this product that was maybe purchased, and that is the twin and earth cable 1.5 millimeter. So the moment you've gotten that answer and you're sure of it, the accuracy, the next thing you do is to actually select at this corner that you see here, hold that, drag downwards, it will automatically pin for you. So these are different costs, total cost, like 5 times 800 gives you 4,000. So the next thing I'll do is I'll calculate totals so that I can be able to understand the amount of totals that was executed down there. So I put the formula here, is equal sum into bracket, starting from where? Starting from up here, that is I6. I put a colon, I6, then I put a colon from I6 all the way down up to this point here. I'll click there, and now you can see the entire column is captured. I'll close the bracket. So the formula is equal sum from I6 to I14. This is I6. You add all the way to I14, which is right here. Up to I14. This is the I14. Let's also add I-15. Added I-15. Then once I do that, press enter, you'll get the total sum. Once I get this total sum, I'll hold down there, then I drag this way. It will also give me the total sum right here. So the total sum expected, so total is going to be equal to, that is 61,350, 61,350 Kenya shillings. So that is the total cost that this person is going to incur. So this is how you can use Microsoft Excel to actually tabulate additions, which was total sum, and also multiplication, which was products. So what was the formula for this product? So the formula was is equal product into bracket, then you put the first cell, you put a colon, then also you put the second cell. It will do a product between those two values in those specific cells. So that is one example of using Microsoft Excel to calculate what? To calculate domestic wiring of a material list. So the next thing I'm going to do is to put a title. I'll come at this center, hold, scroll it this way. Once I do that, I'll click on merge cells. So merge cells is here under alignment. I'll click this arrow, then I say merge cells. Once I do that, I can type the title up there. So I'll click there, and then I'll type domestic wiring material list. So it will be domestic wiring material list 2025. Select the entire text, make it bold. You can give it a different color as a heading. After that, position at the center, margin center, select position at the center. It will be at the center of your design. The next thing, now I'll select this row for the totals. Also, I'll give it a different color to distinguish it from the rest. So this is how you can actually work with Microsoft Excel to do calculations right from your home, and also anytime that you have a task to deliver. So what we did today was calculating totals and also calculating products. So the next thing I'll do is I'll click on this plus so that I can go to sheet 2 and work on the second example. Welcome once again on a second exercise, and in this exercise we are going to work on a very simple project that is CCTV installation costing. So we are going to do costing for CCTV installation. And in this second project exercise, we have the following columns. The first one being camera type. So I'm going to click randomly somewhere. I type camera type. Next to camera type, so because camera type you can see the word is too long, I'll right click on top there, right click, column, increase it to around 18, then I'll say okay. That is expanding the column. So what I did, I right click on top here, then I went to right click, I went to column width and expanded to 18. The next column, I'm going to type quantity, QTY. The next column, I'm going to type unit price, I'll make it around 14. Column width, I'll make it 14, press enter to expand it. After unit price, I'm going to type the total price. After typing total price, expand that also, give it around 14. Column width, make it 14, enter. Then the next column, I'm going to type VAT, that is value added tax. After which I'm going to type grand total. the grand total, expand that to around 14 also to make it wider, 14. So here we have now our work that we are going to work with. So let me select all these. So once we have these, I'm going to select it and then I paste it in another position. So what I'm going to do now is to select all this work down this way, and then I'm going to do what? I'll put these borders. I'll select all borders, borders, all borders, so that we have borders. Next thing I'll put here numbers. Let me put numbers so that we can do numbering on this other end. All borders also. Numbers, I start from number 1. Let's say I start from 100. So the next thing I'll do is I'll hold this small box on this angle, this small box. I'll hold it and then I drag it downwards. After dragging downwards, I'll click on this small box and say fill series. It is going to fill in for me all other series. Okay. So camera type, we can start with the first camera, and that is the dome camera. The next camera, bullet camera. The next camera, PTZ camera. The next camera we are going to use is the DVR camera, DVR 8 channel camera. After DVR 8 channel, we'll use the DVR 16 channel. After that, we have the CCTV power supply, CCTV power supply. This is a list of what we need: CCTV power supply. Then we use RG59 coaxial cable. After that, we have the CCTV BNV connectors. After that, we have the CCTV hard disk. After that, we have the hard disk, wrong spelling, so I double click inside there so that I can make the change. If I don't double click when I try to make change, it will erase whatever that was in. So this CCTV hard disk, it is what size? 1 TB. So I'll put bracket type 1 TB, close the bracket, then I go the next cell. So the next cell, what product do I have? I have the CCTV installation labor. CCTV installation labor. Now, this is one project that we are doing. So I'm going to select on this top row. I click merge on this arrow and alignment, that is home, alignment, merge and center. While centered, I'm going to type, what are we going to do? It is a CCTV installation costing. We are doing estimates and costing so that we can determine this CCTV, how much it takes us to do this. Now we have a complete project. So let me erase this so that we have also this one. I'm going to select it this way, then I put no borders, so that our borders will only be able to reach in this point. All borders now. So that is what we've created. So we go to the data. How many of these do we need? So first right click here to expand column width. Instead of 18, let me make 25. Say okay. Now it's big enough. So how many cameras, dome camera do we need? We need 4. How many bullet? 6. How many PTZ? 2. How many DVR? 1 for each. How many CCTV power supply? 4. How many coaxial cable? 3. How many CCTV BNC? 5. How many hard disk? 2. And lastly, how many CCTV installation labor? How many people do we need? We need 10 people. So that is what I've done. Now what about the unit cost? The unit cost for each 3,200. For the first one, unit cost 4,500. That is Kenya shillings. Unit cost 15,000. Then we have 12,000. We have 18,500. After that we have 1,200. After that we have 5,500. We also have 600. We also have 8,000 and then 1,000. Then 1,000. So here we are going now to calculate the total price. The total price based on this table is going to be a product between the quantity and the unit price. So where is the first product? The quantity for the first product is 4, but 4 is located in what? In J7. As you can see here, we have J7. So we are going to do a product of J7 and K7. So here we put the formula is equal, as you can see up here, while I'm typing here, you will be able to see it up here, is equal product into bracket. Product between what and what? I'll click that J7, I'll put a colon, and then I say the next one, I'll click K7, close the bracket, press enter, you'll get the answer. It is 12,500. Once I get that, I will drag it downwards this way, and I'll be able to generate the rest. So the next thing we are going to do is to calculate the VAT, value added tax. So what is the VAT? So VAT, we are going to assume a Kenyan VAT. So let's think about a Kenyan VAT, value added tax. So VAT for most products in Kenya is 16%. So here we have VAT is equal to 16%. VAT is equal to 16%. 16%. Now, so it means that total price multiplied by 16% will be able to get the amount of value added tax. So what I do, I'll say equal into bracket. Now I'm going to use a different product formula. Is equal into products, that is L7 multiplied. Multiply is there, shift 8 on the keyboard, you'll see that star, that is multiplication. So it is equal into bracket L7, which is 12,800, multiplied by 16, and then I put the percentage sign and close the bracket, press enter. So the formula is what? Is equal L7, ambapo L7 is this one is equal into this total price multiplied, you hold shift and press 8 on your keyboard, you'll see this multiplication sign, then you multiply by 16% because VAT, value added tax for every product in Kenya, is 16%. That is for electronic goods. Once you do that, close the bracket, press enter, you'll get the VAT for all products. So now, what is the grand total? What is the grand total for all these costing that we have done? So the grand total is the next thing that we are going to calculate. Grand total is going to be the total price plus VAT. We have total price here and we have VAT here. So that is L7 plus M7. L7 and M7. So I can use equal into sum into that, this one colon this one. So that is equal sum into bracket L7, then I put a colon and I say M7. I close the bracket, press enter, I'll get 14,848. Another formula I can use, I'll say is equal sum is equal, I won't type sum, is equal into product. Then I click that one, I put the plus sign, I put the next one, I close the bracket, I'll still get the same answer. So I can use either this formula or I can use the other previous formula, still I'll arrive at the same answer. So once I do that, I'll select also downwards this way, and I'll be able to generate the calculations that we are working with. So once I do that, I can now go down here and calculate totals for each column. So totals, I'll start with equal into sum, bracket, starting from there all the way down, close the bracket, press enter. Once I get this answer, I'll drag this formula condition all the way, and I'll be able to get the grand total that I'm going to generate from this project. That is 174,696. So that is how you use Microsoft Excel to calculate costing for CCTV installation. Microsoft Excel in calculation of costing for CCTV installation. Equally, I'm going to click on sheet 3 so that we can do another project. And in sheet 3, the project that we are going to focus on is creating troubleshooting logs. In these troubleshooting logs, we are going to look at a scenario whereby we can do a fault report tracker, whereby we can be able to track electrical faults in a building over 1 month. So we are going to have columns that entails the date, the location, the fault type, the technician who was there or who is supposed to take responsibility, the time taken in hours to manage that, and also the status once it is done. So the formulas and skills that we are going to put in practice include data validation, whereby we are going to do the fault types for power loss, short circuit, loose connections, cameras not working. We will also do the calculation of hours worked. We are going also to filter so that we can be able to see which jobs are pending. After that, we will sort by the time taken. So that is the third task that we want to perform right away. So, and on this task, we are going to start by creating columns. So the first column is the number. The second column is going to have date. The next column is going to have the location. The next column is going to have the fault type. The next column is going to have the technician. The next column is going to have the time taken. Then lastly, we shall have a column that entails the status. So here we are going to see how we can actually work with these. So the first thing, we are going to do is to maximize this location, column width, give it maybe 15. The next column also give it 15 so that we can have standard well expanded columns. All of them, let's give them 15 as an expansion. 15. Also this one we put at 15. This one also we put at 15. So once we do that, select the entire work this way and then assign what? All borders. So this first row, select it, make it bold, give it a good color. Once you do that, select your entire table, also make it bold. We start at the fault type. Fault type, the fault that we had was number 1 was power loss. The next fault that we had, power loss occurred where? It occurred at the kitchen. And who was the technician concerned? John. Okay. What was the status? Completed. Then we got the next person and problem. There was also another challenge, lose connection. While at the lose connection challenge, where did it occur? Bedroom 2. Of that apartment. And then in this bedroom 2, who was the officer technician on that day? It was Jane. Okay. Time taken, location was kitchen. Sorry about the mix-up. Occurred at bedroom 2. Technician was John. Technician down here was Jen. How many hours did it take to complete? 2 hours. How many hours did it take to complete? 1.5 hours. Okay, so we are ongoing. Another problem that occurred was camera not working. The camera was not working. Now, where was the camera not working? It was at the main gate. Who was the technician in charge? It was Peter. Now, Peter, how many hours did it take to do that? 3 hours. And what is the status? Pending. The status for the bedroom 2 lose power connection was completed. So we go to another challenge that occurred. The other challenge was short circuit. Where did the short circuit occur? At the workshop. Who was the technician in charge? That was Ahmed. How many hours did Ahmed take? 2.5 hours. Did he manage it? Yes, completed. Another problem that occurred was flickering light. Where did flickering light occur? At the corridor. Who was there as a technician? It was Wanjiku. Did she manage? Yeah. How many hours? Wanjiku did 1 hour and she managed it. Completed. What other problem did we have? DVR was offline. DVR was offline. At which point? Security room. Now, who was in charge? That was Kamau. How many hours? 2 hours, but it is pending. 2 hours now pending. Okay. What other happened? Overheating socket. Overheating socket. Fault type was overheating socket. Where did it occur? At the office. Who was in charge? It was Brian Kipto. How many hours? 1 hour. Did he complete? Completed. Then another challenge we had was circuit breaker tripped. At which point, where did the circuit breaker trip? At the distribution board. At the distribution board. Who was in charge? It was Karaoke. And then, how long did it take? 2 hours. Was it completed? Yes, completed. Then we go to the next one. Challenge was cable was cut. Which point was the cable cut? At which destination? At the outdoor. Maybe a tree fell on it, a branch of a tree. So who was in charge? It was Ochieng. And how many hours did it take to repair? 4 hours. And then, was it pending or complete? Pending. The other challenge that occurred over that period was earth fault. At the storeroom. Who was in charge? Moria. How long did it take? 3 hours. Was it completed? Yes, completed. So, this is how we've put the data. So on this data, I'll put maybe a specific date. That was Tuesday. All this happened, or we can say a month, the month of July. Let's say July. All this happened on July, so I'm going to drag July all the way down. Then I'll click here, I'll say copy series so that it remains to be July. And then the fault number, let's start from, it was from number 1. Then I'll drag this, it will put for me number 1 repetitively. I'll click there and say fill series, it will count now automatically. So using that, we are going to work on finding ways of doing what? Right now we have a fault report tracker. So I'm going to select the entire of this work. I'll merge and then I'll type fault report tracker. So using this Excel, we want to see how we can be easily be able to track faults, and also how we can be able to use conditional formatting to know exactly which task needs so much attention. So that is what we are going to do. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to select this. Once I select that, then I'm going to click on conditional formatting, and then I'll pick the first rule. The first rule, I'll select text that contain. I want to put conditional formatting text that contain completed. What color will I give them? I'm going to give them a green color. Green color shows you that this task was completed. Once I do that, I'm going to click on a small box here and say green represents complete task. I'll merge. Then using bold, I'm going to type inside there, green represents completed task. So once I do that, I'm going to click inside there, then I'll click this wrap, then I'll take it to the center. So that tells you what? Let me put a border so that we can be able to see it very well. So using my knowledge of Excel, you can see green represents completed task. Okay, so let me change this color let me change this color, give it a different color so that it doesn't bring confusion. So looking at our table, looking at our work, we can be able to see that the color green represents tasks that have been completed, and here we've used what? We have used conditional formatting using color. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this column, and then I'll use numbers for conditional formatting. So I'll go to conditional formatting top, conditional formatting greater than. So I'm going to use greater than. Anything that took greater than maybe 3 hours, I'll give it a red light. I'll say okay. So you can see whatever that took more than 3 hours, it is this one, this task by Ochieng, that is cable cut. So here I will also add red color. Red represents complex tasks. So from here on this table we can see red is this one by Ochieng. It was cable cut, repairing the cable cut from outdoors. It represents a very complex task that occurred on that day. So this is how you use conditional formatting in Microsoft Excel, so that once you make this copy printed, someone will be able to read through and understand what you are actually saying or what you meant when you are designing this report. So lastly, we can look at yearly report. So in this yearly report, we are going to select this, and then we are going to merge and then say yearly report. So in this yearly report, we want to see which items gave us good profit, item or activity. So here we have the month, activity, and then charges that we got from the contractor, and then the profits, and then remarks. So we want to understand since January all the way to which month, let's see, up to August. So for this yearly report, we want to see from January to August. So here was CCTV. We did CCTV. We did troubleshooting. We did a wiring project. We did maintenance. Project. These are the projects that we did that year. And then we did wiring of a school. We did wiring for hospital. We did maintenance. Then lastly, we did the CCTV troubleshooting. What about the profits, the charges? So here we charged 70,000. We charged 78,000. We charged 56,000. Here we charged 34,000. We charged 45,000. We charged 23,000. Here we charged 56,000. Here we charged 46,000. What was the profit that we made? Assuming we made 10%, of each 10%. So I'm going to put equal into bracket. That's multiplied by 10%. Then I close the bracket, enter. So for each we did 10% as a profit based on the quotation we had. So let me select all these and put borders. So now we want to know the remarks. From the remarks we want to understand, was it good business or was it a loss? Was it good, profitable or loss? Was it profitable or loss? So we are going to use an if function for two outcomes. So we are going to say is equal if into bracket. Whatever value that we had in this K7, that is the profit we had in where? K7. If it was greater than, so let me use 5,000. If whatever that we got in this profits column, starting with the first person, first activity CCTV in January, whatever we get inside here in K7, if it is greater than 5,000, comma, what should Excel provide to us? It was good or healthy. But if not, comma, I put speech mark, then it was loss. Speech mark, I close the bracket because I started with the bracket. So this is the if function for two outcomes, whereby the logical part is when I say K7 is greater than 5,000. So using that, we are going to determine whether it is good or loss, healthy or loss. Then remember the speech marks, and once you do that, press enter. So we can see the first activity, that was the CCTV, was very profitable. So it was healthy because this value is greater than 5,000 based on my formula. This one is greater than 5,000. You can see it's 7,000. So what about this activity of maintenance in April? Was it profitable? Let's see. Or was it a loss? So if I drag down this formula down, I'll be able to see this was a loss. April maintenance was a loss because this value is less than 7,000. This was also a loss. This was a loss. This was a profit because it was greater than 5,000. Remember, we put 5,000 as the benchmark. And then this was a loss because it was less than 5,000. So here we've used the if function for two outcomes. Now, let us put another complex remark. Decision, let's call it a decision. In this decision, we want to use these three. There's a point we charge 78,000, there's a point we charge 56,000, and there's a point we charge 40,000. So let me assume I'm going to use if function for three outcomes. So I'll start by saying is equal if into bracket whatever that we got in this column J7. So let me use 60,000 as a benchmark for high value client. Whatever we charged above 70,000, it means that was a high value client, 60,000, okay? So whatever that was in J7, if in J7, that column J, the entire column J, whatever is in column J, starting with J7, if it is greater than 60,000, without typing a comma, then I put a comma, no comma in between 60,000, but after comma, then that should be high value client. So whomever we charged above 60,000, it is a high value client. Then I come down to 2. Remember, I've already mentioned the third outcome, that is high value client. Now I'm going back to 2. I'll put the same equation as the one I put in remark. That's how you modify 3 outcome formula. So I start with if, I put into bracket, I use another, the same J7, but I use a different benchmark. Maybe I can use 50,000 now. If whatever that is in J7 or column J, entire column J, is greater than now 50,000, comma, that should be good client. Remember, we have high value clients, those are above 60,000. Good clients between 50,000 to 60,000. Otherwise, those who are less than 50,000, they are going to be just regular client. Then I put speech mark and I close bracket twice because already I've used the bracket here and I've used the bracket here. Now I'm going to close with two brackets. The moment I do that, I press enter. So here we've got a decision, and this decision is telling us we have this type of client. So here we have a high value client because this we charged above 60,000. So let's drag and see. So as you can see down there, we have regular client that was 46,000, which is below 50,000. We have a good client, 56,000, that is between 56,000 and 70,000. Then we have three regular clients, those who are below 50,000. So this is if function for three outcomes. This is the formula. And then here we have if function for two outcomes. That is the formula. So if you can be able to do that, then you shall be in a good position to understand how to utilize Microsoft Excel for your business. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select activity and charge columns. So I'll click right there, select downwards, then move this way, right click and say copy. Copy. Once I do that, I'm going to paste only values, not formulas, values. So I'll click at the center here, then I right click and paste these number values. Once I paste, I can expand a little bit. Once I do that, now I'm going to select entire, put borders, these borders. Then using these two, I want to create a chart. So once I select these two, I select highlight, then I go to insert. Under insert, I'll find charts, different types of charts. So I'll collect this column chart. Column chart, we have 2D and 3D. So I'll select this one, and then we shall be able to have a chart right here. We are going to have a chart for that task that we've done. So here is our chart for this project. This is our chart. So in this chart we can give it a title. The title was the yearly report 2025 activity report. So this is our chart. If I click on the chart design, I'll be able to get different types of designs that I can work with. So remember, I selected all these, then I went to insert and I inserted a chart. So here we have a chart. So remember sheet 1, what did we do? We created a domestic wiring material list whereby we calculated the unit price using product, total cost using product. On sheet 2, then we went and calculated the total price also using product. We calculated VAT whereby we used percentage, and then grand total whereby we used sum, the formula for sum. Then on sheet 3, we did fault report tracker whereby we calculated conditional formatting. We did conditional formatting so that we could use cell colors in order to make a decision, and the decision is in this cell right here that is matched. On sheet 4, we also did a yearly report. In this yearly report, we used the if function for two outcomes. Here is the if function for two outcomes, which states that is equal if into bracket if K7 was this first person's profit, CCTV profit, if it is greater than 5,000, a benchmark that we set ourselves, comma, then Excel should give us healthy, speech mark, comma, then speech mark. If not, Excel should show us loss, speech mark, close bracket, because we started with a bracket. So any value that in this column, any value that is above the benchmark that is 5,000, we shall be able to see healthy. but any value less than that, we shall be able to see loss. And also we did for three outcomes whereby we modified the two outcome formula and then started by creating two benchmarks, 60,000 and 50,000. Unlike in the first formula whereby we only used one benchmark of 5,000. So in the next, we did two benchmarks, that was 60,000 and 50,000 for the decision for charges in column J. And we started by saying a higher benchmark is going to be for high value clients, that was 60,000. So we said this J7 is equal if, into bracket J7 is this one, we can see it's 70,000. If this value inside J7 is greater than 60,000, then that is a high value client, comma, we started if again and said if again that value in J7 is going to be greater than the new benchmark, which is 50,000, that is a good client. But if not, meaning less than 50,000, it is a regular client. That is what we did for this column. Afterwards, I selected activity and charges together, activity and charges. Then I right clicked and copied. After copying, I clicked on sheet 5, I pasted here. Once I pasted, I selected again, gave it borders, and then went to insert and pick this chart, column chart. There is a line chart, we have a pie chart, we have different types of chart, but I use the column chart, which is one of the best. And here we can see based on our results. The most profitable business we did was troubleshooting, as high as almost 80,000. The list was wiring for hospital. Let us look at sheet 4 and confirm. What was the most profitable? This one, troubleshooting. What was the least profitable? 23,000, wiring for hospitals. So that is how you use Microsoft Excel to work with real life situation. Thank you for your time, and I hope you keep practicing on this. If you have a question or a comment, feel free to comment down there on the comment section, and I'll be able to give you an answer immediately. Thank you and have good moments.